Well, hello again, folks, and welcome back to the show. Welcome to Told Freely, and I'm your host, Mr. Reese. Thank you for coming, and I appreciate you showing me some love. Today I have a new weed, like I always do, folks. I search up, high, and low to get y'all a new marijuana every time I have a show. And so today, the name of this weed. Oh damn, I forgot to put the stuff in. But I can do it while I'm telling you. The name of this weed is called AK-47. Yeah, that's the name of it, folks. It's called AK-47. And I have been smoking on it. It's not bad. The one I did previously, I think I like more. This one has a more mellow taste to it, you know. But we're gonna get there in a minute because I forgot to write down all the stuff here because I'm doing so many things that I probably shouldn't be doing. It's keeping me occupied, but it's keeping me happy. And isn't that the most important thing in life? Is to be happy. We all search for it, but few of us find it. So, how's everybody doing? I know I'm talking with my head down, but I forgot to write down my scores. I mean, my topics, things that I do to score. I forgot to write it down. And that's my own fault because I was moving too fast today. Trying to do too many things at once. Quality. See, I'll be with you folks in a minute. Like I got you on hold. 1 minute, please. And finally, all right. And our goal is always 100. And that's from a scale from 1 to 10 in the month of September 2021. Like I mentioned, so I'm about to have a birthday coming up today. So name my weed called AK-47. Hopefully that's not the real name, but I asked over and over and over. They claim it's the real thing. So hopefully YouTube just don't get me in trouble. I may not title it that when I do. I title it. But I'm gonna take a look at the weed because, like I said, I've been smoking in this weed. I just got the other weed in today, but this weed I've had since yesterday. And I was going to do the show yesterday, but like I said, got preoccupied and I got to smoking. So I put something to the side just so I can show you guys, because this actually is a really good weed. The name might be shitty, but it really is a really good weed. I actually liked it a lot. I like it over the other weed, but the other weed is strong. Okay, so here we go. Hold on. Wait, have I got it on there right? Put it this way. All right, there we go. See that? Nice texture to it. Like I said, all the weeds look alike. I see a little yellow in there, but all the weeds sort of look alike, except this one don't have. Yes, it does. I was gonna say it didn't have any red in it or blonde, but yeah, it does. They all look the same. It's hard to tell, unless you see something that really stands out. Really stands out. They basically all look the same. And so the smell. Now see, the smell is totally different on it. It's very very sweet and pungent, very pungent. Smell like smell fruity. That's the best way I can describe it. It smells very fruity, almost like a bouquet of fruit, like different fruits smell combined together, but they're all fruits. I like the smell a lot. Excuse me. I've always liked weed that's got fruity and floral smells to it because usually they have a smoother taste, a softer taste. That you don't have to deal with those harsh tastes and barking and stuff like that. I mean, this would make you cough too. I don't think it's as potent as the one I did before this one, but I think it's just as good. So fire up the joint and see what we got. But like I said, I've been smoking on it, so the evaluation is going to be biased because I've already been smoking on it, and I like smoking it. But to explain it to the people, see, very smooth. I love the taste. Very smooth. And then you can taste the fruity. You can actually taste it. Whatever that fruitiness taste that may be in there, you actually can taste it. I actually can taste it. It's pretty good. See, I like weed like this. I try to evaluate all the weeds, but I do have my own favorites. I have my personal favorites, and this would be one of my own personal favorites. It don't necessarily have to be as strong as the one I had before that because that was strong. That went straight to your head. This one don't really go straight to your head, but it gets there. Believe me, it gets there. And I always say weed like this that's on this level because to me this weed like this is sort of on a different level because so many things are combined with it. The taste, the smell, and everything else, and the sweetness to it that it flows throughout the whole joint, even to the aroma of the joint when you're smoking that after. That's really appealing to me. It's almost like how you feel on a nice, beautifully breeze Sunday afternoon. The sun is shining on a cloud in the sky, and you feeling, you know, metaphoric, if you want to say that, or euphoric, either one. You have that melancholy feeling and shit. You know what I'm saying? This weed kind of puts you in that mindset. It's man with a glass of wine. A glass of good wine. Like I'm saying, I love wines, but I'm not into, like I said, Beaujolais and all that bullshit. Because a lot of them don't taste that great to me. I've always liked a fruity wine, as long as it's not too fruity, not too tangy or tart. If it has nice full, fruity flavor to it, I do like that. I used to be a big liker back in the day of it was a Gallo wine, Rhine wine. I used to love me some Rhine wine. Till one day, I drank so much I got so drunk and sick of it. I haven't had any since. But I remember some of you old cats. Y'all remember Reunion? It was always too sweet for me. But I would always drink it over something else or some good white wine that was nice and sweet because I don't like a lot of dry white wine. I know they go good with chicken, fish, and vegetables. I know that. I've had it with those. I've been with them bougie people that have never wine with everything. You know, I was once it's a long story, but I'm gonna try to make it short. I was one with some people that had some influence, and they took us out to dinner because well, I thought they wanted to teach us some stuff, but really they were just fucking, well, I can't say that. They were, put it this way, they wasn't interested in what you can do as far as working. They was interested in what they could do as far as something else. And these were men. Okay. But anyway, uh, we had this dinner. We had this dinner. And each main course, because it was like three main courses, they really tried to impress us. It had a bottle of wine with it, And one was a dark wine, I would say like a Bordeaux. The other one was a more fruity wine, because that's the one I drank. It kind of reminded me of sherry, but not as dry as a sherry, but not as sweet sometimes as a sherry. Sort of like in between, because it was a heavy, it was like a red wine, but it was heavy, and it was really good. It was just heavy, you know. And then they had this white sparkling wine, which, I drank all three wines just to see. I was like, what's this one? Pretty good. Oh, I like this one better. So I just drank, yeah, I had a glass of all three wines. And I said, well, because I asked the guy, I said, well, do they do this all the time? Do they always have, more than one wine? He was like, well, no, we ordered the wines with each meal, you know. I was like, oh, wait. And at the end of the day, that evening, that, they was trying to take us home. It was pretty disgusting, the attempt. You know, to me, if you're gay or whatever, and you don't tell somebody you're gay, and you're trying to get some straight guy to sleep with you, I think you got a problem. You know, or it's just something you're trying to conquer somebody or something. Like a guy would try to conquer a woman that nobody else can get but him, or he can only one that got her, and it's like a conquering thing. And I think to some gay men, they like to conquer straight men. You see what I'm saying? Because they probably will prefer a straight man over another gay man. That's the logic I can come up with. I don't know for sure, but I'm gonna tell you another because gay people have men has always been attracted. I don't know if they think I'm gay or what it is. I don't know what it is, but all my life I've been approached by gay men. And one time, it used to be a record store. If you're here from Chicago, yeah, that sounds like it's getting louder and louder. Used to be a record store. You go on Rush Street, there used to be a couple of record stores down there. It was this big one down there. I forgot the name. And, well, anyway, the weed is good, goes down mellow. I tell you the story. Weed is good, goes down mellow, got a great taste to it. It is high in THC. I can taste it. It's got a nice kick to it. Not as strong as the one I had before, but it's got a nice kick. Okay, so back to the story. So I'm in the record store. This was the days when you had vinyls. You had to go to the record store and buy the albums and shit. Ooh, I know that seemed like a long time ago. But anyway, I was in the record store and I'm searching through records. I'm a big Prince fan, so I'm searching through records trying to find records of Prince and everything on it. You know. And it was like a group of guys, about maybe 4 or 5 guys. And I noticed they would follow me through the store. I would go to one aisle, and then I look. They'll, be one on that side of the aisle and one on that side of. So it made me paranoid, you know. So I went all the way to the back of the store because when I get like that, I start watching you. You know what I'm saying? I can't watch you like that while I'm trying to look at stuff. So I went to the back of the store and started pretending like I was looking at the really old records from like 40s and 50s and shit. And I'm looking through the records pretending, but I'm looking at them. They were all gathered about 3 hours over, you know, looking directly at me and just a smiling and shit. I'm like, what is wrong with these people? Are they a bunch of, I don't know what they were. So they kind of eased off. 'Cause I think they saw that this shit was bothering me. So uh, they kind of eased off and went on off in their direction, still looking at records. So I already had the records I was going to buy. So I go up to the cash register, to the cashier, and I'm like, I'm buying the albums. I did not, before she could finish uh, putting the record in the bags and give me my change, I turned around and all them guys were standing right there in front of me. All white guys. All white guys. In there, I had to be like, because I was young at the time, wasn't even married. So I had to be like 18, 19, maybe even 20 years old, because I was working. I might have been 20. I'm not sure if I was that old. And they turned around and one of the guys asked me, he said, well, can I talk to you outside? So I'm getting nervous. I'm like, what, the undercover cops and shout or what they were? I was like, for what? He says, not what you think. He said, just come with me outside. He said, you can stand right here outside the door. I was like, okay. So I go outside the door. There was one guy, he tells me, he said, me and my friends was talking and we think that you're a really nice guy and you're a really good looking guy. And we were wondering, can we go home with you? I said, we? you know, he said, yeah, all of us, we really would like, to get to know you, you know. I was like, man, hell no, you can't go home with, what kind of shit is this? You offering me, what are you offering? What are you trying to tell me? I knew in the back of my head, I just wanted to hear it from his mouth. He said, I'm nothing, he said, if you want money, we'll give you money. I said, money for what? You know, he said, if you let us go home with you. I said, let you go home with me to do what? You see what I'm saying? you know, I said, well, I don't live alone. I said, no, I don't think, even though I didn't, I was staying at home. I was like, I don't live alone. And I said, plus, I have roommates. And plus, I'm not into whatever it is you're into. He said, well, everybody can change. This is what the guy told me, white guy told me. And I said, well, I don't want to change. Whatever it is that you're trying to give me, I don't want it. Believe me, I don't want it. So I tell you, I had some weird stories. I tell you one more before I finish this story. In my single days, before I met my wife, I used to love to go to the lakefront. Now back then, if you're from Chicago, the lakefront was full of those big gigantic stones. They were those big square stones. You could actually go all the way up to them, sit on them, and I miss those days. I really. You could go up to them and sit up there, And I used to buy wine. This was the real needy days. And I used to buy wine, and I used to put it in the water, right there off the rocks. And I'd buy some, and the rocks were so huge and they overlapped. You could actually sit. We did it with a lot of stuff, but you could actually sit wine or beer right there, just under the just a little bit under the water level from where the waves came in and hit those stones. And man, you could get the coldest beer, the coldest wine. So I'm sitting out there one day. I got some weed. I'm trying to sneak, smoke some weed, because it's crowded. Nobody knows. So I'm sitting out on the rocks. I'm just doing my own thing because I used to like to do that. So I'm sitting out on the rocks and shit, you know, uh, sneaking, smoking me a joint and drinking my wine and shit because I had this little flask I used to carry with me. Not a liquor, whiskey flask, but it was like, well, yeah, maybe, I guess so. But anyway, it was a flask. So I'm there because I poured wine in it and shit, and I'm drinking, I'm looking around, looking around. So it was this guy with this dog. He had a little schnauzer, white guy, older guy. Okay, probably maybe in his 50s at the time. And I'm sitting so far out on the rocks that most people don't go out that far because that's letting people show you, hey, I don't want to bother. I'm sitting out here on these rocks, minding my own business. And then the way I was sitting there, you actually hid a little bit. So he had to actually physically look to see if somebody was sitting there because most people just walk past because of the big stones. If you saw me, you saw a glimpse of me, because I was trying to hide because I was smoking weed. In them days, you couldn't smoke weed. So I'm sitting on the rock, and I start seeing this guy coming across the stones. He coming across him and his dog, both of them together and shit, coming across the stones. So at first I didn't pay no attention, and then I looked again, and he was closer. So I just kept an eye on him. I'm like, what is he doing? So I'm sitting there and I'm watching him now because I hid the weed, I hid the cigarette, the liquor and shit. So I'm just looking at him now. Him and his dog. First, his dog come up to me and throw his hand up under my hand, throw his nose up under my hand. So I rub him. So this motherfucker trained that dog to that shit. Okay. So he's like, really, really nice guy, old white guy. He said, well, oh, I see you sitting out here by yourself. I was like, yeah, I was trying to get a little privacy. I'm sort of doing things I ain't got no business doing. He's like, oh, I understand. If you want to continue, continue. So he just started talking to me and talking to me. And we have actually a pretty decent conversation. I'm a little annoyed that he's still there. You see what I'm saying? And I'm saying to myself, if he keeps talking, I'm gonna just get up and I'm gonna move. It's gonna seem very rude because I'm just gonna move somewhere else to sit, and he gonna get the message. And I should have did that, but me trying to be friendly and shit, I'm sitting there talking to the guy and shit. He said, well, I don't live too far from here. Always talking about dogs. That's what it was about dogs. I tell him how I love animals. I got animals myself and all that kind of shit. So he's like, well, I have other animals at home. He said, I don't live too far from here. Would you like to come see the animals? And I'm thinking to myself, now I caught on right then and there because I tell you, this has happened to me my entire life. So I catches on right then and there. I said, no, man, I don't want to go home with you to see no. I said, plus, I'm not into whatever you're into. I said I may look like that type of person, but I'm not that type of person. He said, "Oh, no, 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 don't get me wrong, don't get me wrong. I was just wanting to see if you was interested. You said you like animals, and I have more animals at home." I said, "Well, why do I want to come to your house to look at more animals? I just told you I like dogs. You know, dogs and cats. I like animals. I like some birds and shit like that. You know, and he's still trying to get me to come. He said, "Why don't you come over? We can have some drinks. You drink?" I said, "Occasionally." I said, "I already got drinking." He said, well, "Come over to my house. We can put that on ice, and we can sit and have a talk and stuff like that." And I just had to tell him. I said, "Listen, I'm not gay, and I'm not into gay relationships. I'm not into gay nothing." You know, he's like, "Oh, oh, I understand," and left. So for now, when people, and like I said, nothing personal against gay people is not. I don't disrespect them or anything like that. You know, but I do have a problem with gay people trying to come on the straight people. It's like it's a challenge for you guys to do that shit or something. And it's not fair to us. And then if the guy retaliates in a negative manner, he's the one that got to pay the consequences because you liked him, but you knew you couldn't have him. It's not right, folks. It's not right. And then, you get the few that actually can convert them guys. You see what I'm saying? They show so much love and affection towards another dude, especially if he hurt no love and affection. I've seen it all. It ain't shit I missed. I've seen gay guys work a straight guy and make that motherfucker fall in love with him like shit. Make him fall in love with him. I don't say can't say too much on YouTube. But I actually witnessed it. This gay dude made this straight. And I'm telling you, this dude was straight, had kids. Well, at least, well, some people would say if he did that, he would never was straight in the first place. But I disagree with that. some people don't understand that sometimes people can get so lonely that any kind of affection from anybody feels good, and you can turn that into a love. You really can. You really can. There's a lot of lonely people in the world. And some people are lonely for just the touch of another person, if it's a man or a woman, you know. And I think that has to be considered in some situations. And then again, some people are so nasty that they willing to stick their dick into anything that possibly has a hole to it, you know. So those are things you have to consider, you know. Even straight guys, because you hear about all these guys that's undercover and shit, you know. And you think him and George is good friends and him and George is lovers. But he got a wife and kids at home. If that ain't the ultimate betrayal, I don't know what is. It just makes me think what goes through the woman's mind when she catch her man when he do that. Would she ever accept him back? And if especially that man is sucking on his thing, oh God, and she sucks on it too. Oh, that man ain't never getting a blowjob from her ever again. If he stay in the marriage, boy, she be like, listen, you can get the pussy. I ain't putting my mouth on it. No, you done had that George's mouth on that motherfucker. And he probably was better at it than I was. No, 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 thank you. Because I know how I would be if my woman came home one day and she's like, you know what? I'm a lesbian. I have been hiding it for years, and I want you to accept it and accept my girlfriend. I'd be like, y'all better call 911 in this motherfucker, because there's going to be some dead bodies up in this motherfucking place. Okay, there's going to be a couple of dead bodies, and mine is not going to be among them. Okay, the unmitigated gall people have to do. I remember watching shows. Now that was a good joint too. I remember watching shows where people were like Jerry Springer and shit like that. I always thought it was staged, but I think it had some reality to it. That these people they just had these urges for other people, and they would just bring it out, for the whole world to hear. First of all, I wouldn't do that. Second of all, you're gonna get a phone call. But he gonna get me face to face. You gonna get a long distance phone call because I know, hell, it's gonna be some shit gonna hit the fan if I do some shit like that. So listen, that ain't happening. Anyway, the weed was really good. I enjoy the weed a lot. And it gets me high as hell. It really does. You know, I like the weed. I'm gonna recommend. And now I'm gonna quit. And then I'm gonna get out your folks' hair. And until the next time, I'll come get in you folks' hair. So, for our AK-47 OG, that's what they're calling it, folks. I don't make the claims. For the smell, I love it. Great smell, I love it. I'm gonna give it a 10. Taste, for the taste, I love it. I'm going to give it a 10. For the flavor, I love it, and I'm going to give it a 10. For the texture, it's 999.9% perfect. I will give that a 9. Buzzer high, it doesn't shoot too straight to your head. It's really very good. That's my wife calling. She's going to have to hold on. I have to call her back. I'm going to give that 7. No, I'm going to give that an 8. The point of peak, I'm going to give it a very high score because I know from smoking the weed, the point of peak is very early in the joint. So I'm going to give it a 9. Accessibility. Accessibility is a ton of it out there. That I know for a fact, guys I bought it from. So I know it's a ton of it out there. So you go out there and ask for some AK-47. Hopefully you don't get shot. Okay, or somebody tries to sell you something. Okay, other than weed. The accessibility, I'm gonna give it a 10. Okay, quality. The quality is like I said, 99% perfect. I give it a 9. Potency is great. Not as potent as the last one I had, but I would give it an 8. And comfortability. Yeah, if you take a lot of deep tokens off of it, you will cough. But on a norm, it's not a lot of coughability to it because the weed is so mild, but it still works. You don't have to cough this weed to get high. So for coughability, I'm going to give it a 3. So give me a minute. Let me add this up for you folks. I have it off. I thought I had it. There we go. So, for the smell, we gave that a 10. For the taste, also a 10. For the flavor, as well as a 10. And this is rare that I give a flavor a 10. But I knew when I first started smoking this weed and I was going to grade it, I already knew I was going to get a flavor of 10 because the flavor is just great. When you get it, you'll understand what I mean. The texture, I gave it a 9. Buzz and high, I gave it 8. Point of peak, I gave a 9. Accessibility, I gave a 10. Quality, I gave a 9. Oh, damn. Plus potency, I gave an 8. And comfortability, I gave a 3. And my score is, we have an 86, folks. That's really a high score. That's a very, very good. I'm going to start calling this a great. So we're going to start calling, starting today, we're going to call this great. It's going to be a great. So we have a great 86, for our AK-47 OG. I definitely recommend this weed that you go out and get this weed. It's really good. I'm going to get me some more because I love when I run across weed like this. It's like I say, it's almost like a food to me because it's so enjoyable that you want more of it and you want to try to keep it. And so for me, for today, September of 2021, our AK-47 OG gets 86, folks, and that's a really high score. So I recommend, yeah, would you buy it again? We're going to say yes. I didn't write that, but we're going to say yes, and I do recommend it. So, folks, I want to thank you again for stopping at the show. I'm planning on making the show better, folks. I'm just running through some hiccups. Excuse me. I'm just running through some hiccups again. That's the story of my life. You know. But I do know if I stick to it, and I keep my beliefs, and I go strong, I get exactly what I want. So until next time, folks, thank you for coming. Thank you for showing me some love. And until we meet again, God bless and Tokefreely.